All right. Legit.
Pretty, yeah.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Technology at school.
Technology.
Yep.
And what about it?
The switch-up schools are going to. They're going further away from books and more to technology to fit the era.
Well, do you think this could be a good thing or a bad thing?
It really depends how they use it. Like, it depends if the books are going to be completely thrown out and digitized, or if they're going to partially use the book and partially use the technology. Because if it's halfway in between, that's just half-assing it, and you're not really getting the full deal of having the technology. But if you only go to technology, things can go wrong, such as internet not going to work, you could lose everything on your hard drive, your cloud could get hacked, stuff like that.
Yeah, but you also got to think that the material aspect of books, like availability of the Chromebooks or computers anywhere.
Like how?
Like let's say you leave your laptop or something at school, or not at school, at home. And what are you going to do when you get there and you don't have it?
It's going to sit there and get an F.
Yep.
But if you have books still there, you
Yeah.
can at least do something. But the thing is, though, the teachers are going to go further and further away from the books, and they're going to have all the assignments and everything set up online. So they're probably not going to go through the discussion to actually go through it. They're going to probably end up reading it off as they're discussing it up there.
Yeah. And one thing that I really wanted to hit during this podcast would be the network blockage, if that makes any sense. Like, schools are blocking Facebook and social networking
That's
sites.
not really a problem, though, because
Well,
you shouldn't really be doing that during school time anyways. And technically they're for the school stuff. They're not supplying you with a new thing to chat with your friends. They're trying to make it where you have learning material that's easier to access.
Think about the... I don't know how you want to say this. It's giving kids the opportunity to talk more socially, because at every school that's doing computers, they have their own personal email set up at the school, and the school has that in a database. All you got to do is go to your email, type in a name, and boom, you've got that person.
Yeah, that's great and all.
So technically, that's social networking.
Yeah, but you can track the messages.
Not if you delete them all the way down.
No, there's no way to actually fully delete something. If it's there on the internet, no matter what you do, it's still there. You just have to dig harder to get it, but you can still find it.
I guess that works.
See, with Facebook, though, you'd actually have to have access to their accounts, which they would have their own personal account instead of the one the school supplied them with. So it'd be harder to see what they're saying, like, hey, dude, come to my house, let's get drunk over the weekend.
Yeah.
So you could bust somebody for that if they type it over stupidly on the messages.
Yeah. But this also gives the kids more of a chance to become sneakier in ways that, code words, all that, just makes it a lot easier.
Now, it's interesting, though, that you bring up social networking and kids being sneakier, because there is a way to bypass all of that.
Oh, yeah.
If you're smart enough. Some people will use proxy servers. I don't know if the school's blocked those. Probably can't block them all because proxy servers are everywhere.
Yeah.
But the problem with proxy servers, if you aren't sure about them, they could be used for hackers, and they could have you say, what's your first name, and then email address, and then type in a password. You might use the same password for everything. And if they have your email address, they can see everything you use, and since they have your password as well, and even if you don't use that password for that email, they can, by going onto their server, they can send you a virus that may or may not be seen on your computer, and if you're not familiar with the keylogging program, it sees every keystroke of the keyboard that you type, wherever. So if you're going to type in a password, it's there.
Now, I will give the teachers a point on this internet and technology switchover. That new software they're supposedly getting to make it to where they can see everything you do on your computer, that's a point on their part.
I don't actually know if that's for sure though, because teachers tend to say stuff to get you to think of what you're doing, but sometimes it's just there to scare you, and they're not going to actually do it, or they don't actually have it, say the technology to view what everybody's looking at.
I don't know if it's confirmed that they were talking about doing it.
If you take a look at it, how do you know you're seeing what everybody in your room's seeing? If you have the technology to see other people's computers, how do you know you're not seeing somebody from the other side of the school's computer? How would you regulate just your classroom?
You've got a good point.
And what single little laptop, the cheap little laptop that the school teachers have, could handle all of the programs that's being ran on the computers?
Well, they still do have their regular computers.
Not all of them.
Not all of them?
No. Mrs. Blank, my chemistry teacher, she only has a laptop, and she forgot it one day, and we had to go from everything from her head, which she just wrote on the board instead of actually having her computer. Another one of my teachers also has only the laptop and no desktop. Most of my teachers just have the little laptops.
Huh. It's weird. I know that everybody at my school, they still have their regular
See,
computers.
and that's smarter, because, like I said, if you leave your laptop at home, what material are you going to be using?
Yeah, there's nothing for you.
Exactly. They could say, oh, I have a slight idea of what we're going to do. Here, let me look in the book. But that wastes time.
But I mean, I will give them that if you forget your laptop and the lesson is online, they can just have that emailed to you.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, though, that removes more of the class time you have to work on it. And because you're just sitting there, you're not really doing anything productive during the school hours, which is what they're there for.
yeah. It's going to have to be something that is going to have to be seen, played out.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Now, before we got this technology switch over, I had some skepticism because of the network issues. I didn't know if the network was going to be able to handle all of these.
Okay.
But
talking about the network, I have had major problems with that. I would love to discuss some of the problems with the network. Out in the trailers, in my anatomy class, I will be typing on it, and it'll be like, you went offline, you went online, you went offline, you went online. And it does it to everybody, not just my computer, but everybody in the class, in the other trailers even, at the same time.
yeah. It's just, they're going to have to do some more beefing up on it.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while.
Also, I have had problems with the Chromebook itself. The problem is, only some of the programs can be ran offline. Yeah. And then, even with it running offline, sometimes it completely wipes what you did. Like, I went offline, typed up this whole paper, exited it, because it automatically saves, you know?
Yeah.
I went back, accessed it online, the whole thing was blank, and it said that it was an untitled document.
Yeah, they're going to have to work on their network. It's just, with so many computers, it's going to be a miracle if there's no issues at first.
Yeah.
Now next year, it'll be not flawless, but close to it. They'll still be the days.
It depends how they want to do it, because if they actually work over summer break, yeah, it could be beefed up quite a bit.
Yeah, and there will be those days where it's down due to just maintenance.
Yeah. Because
the other day over at the high school, that the network was down, apparently, and I was asking around what was going on with it, and it was actually the internet company's fault for doing that one.
Yeah, it's not always the school's problem. Don't get me wrong on that.
Yeah.
Also, I have had problems with the Chromebook automatically updating. I have been typing up a research paper, and I've seen at the bottom that it has this little arrow, and it says it needs to update. And I'm like, I can't do that right now, I'm typing up my paper. But then, when I close my Chromebook, like put it into sleep mode and everything, carry it to my next class, everything will be gone because it automatically shut off. And I don't know why, but when it automatically shuts off, it shuts everything. And when it shuts everything, Even though it says my work was saved, it was wiped,
Yep.
clean.
It's definitely some issues that they need to work on.
I don't think it's the schools either. I just think it's the programming in the Chromebook.
Oh yeah, but I think the only reason they chose the Chromebook was the durability in it, which is still less credible than they intentionally.
No, I think the reason they chose the Chromebook is because it does just enough, but not too much.
Yeah.
Like with the laptops up in Joplin, they actually had laptops, so people they didn't have as much control because through Google, the administrator has control to block this, block that, block this.
Yep.
But in Joplin, kids during class were Skyping, looking up YouTube, Netflix, all this during class, completely ignoring the teacher.
I will give that they have control on it. They need to let some slack in the rope to be figurative. They need to really rethink what all is blocked and what all is not, because YouTube is not only
They didn't
an entertainment source.
completely block YouTube though. They allowed the educational side to actually go through. So you can go to YouTube and look at the educational. I also have a problem with my Chromebook. It's my Chromebook specifically. I know this because everybody else is on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mine, it'll be like I go to a video, right? And it'll show static. It'll show cannot access this. Learn more, and I can't do anything. Also, they do need to cut back some slack on blocking things because my Chromebook's messing up, right? What do I go to? I go down, click on settings. It pulls up a window. Website blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Why are my settings blocked?
Well, I just think they don't want you tampering with their equipment.
But you can't access their blocking equipment, their anything through settings.
Oh yeah, and they think that they have all the students beat. They don't.
Technically, if I wanted to, I could bypass all the blocking.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to be the good student. I'm going to wait patiently, see if anything gets fixed with an update or anything before I start tampering with anything. That'll be a while.
Yeah.
They've got their work cut out.
Yeah, they've got their work cut out.
I slowly seem to be edging out of the picture here. I'm sorry.
Even. Well, anything else about the technology?
I can't think of anything.
I can't either. So I think it's time for us to sign out.
Well, this is us signing out.
Deuces.